gonna do the intro. Yeah. Hello, everybody, and this is the Zed and Brad Do Survivor podcast. Unfortunately, the Dude Fish has decided to retire from podcasting for the moment, and fortunately for us, or fortunately for myself, I do have a more than capable partner to join me again, as he joined me last week. As you could see, it is Bradley Clark from Hamilton, Ontario.
Wild.
Just to make sure everybody knows you're from Canada, could you please pronounce the word bag?
I think you did a pretty good job right there. Bag, I don't know what to say.
I think we'll never ever hear someone on Survivor say bag, because they don't allow Canadians to join American Survivor. It's just, that's one of the stipulations. You can't apply for Survivor if you're a Canadian, unfortunately. Which reminds me of the time that I asked you about whether you'd like to be on Survivor, and you'd probably have to hope that Canada decides to do some kind of quality Survivor show. Otherwise, your best bet is probably Big Brother. What do you think of Big Brother?
I don't know. There's some, people who are crossover fans between both, but I'm pure Survivor fan. I don't have time for that Big Brother shenanigans. That's not surviving. That's like, let's have a house party, tape it, party games. No way.
Back when Big Brother was just getting off its feet, I did enjoy a couple seasons of it, but I have to say it's not my thing. It's just, I'm pure Survivor. I feel like Big Brother feels too scripted. I don't know if they actually script things or not, but it just feels scripted for some reason. Anyway, here we go.
We just get actors to get on the show. Anyways, yeah, this is not a Big Brother bashing episode.
Here we go. You said you watched part of the episode. You know that Cece was left off. Let's start with Cece. Like, what did you think about Cece as a character, as a contestant on the show?
Well, they always pick one person who can't swim to go on Survivor, because they know that inevitably, like, there's so many swimming challenges, and poor Cece, like, she can't swim. Well, you can't hold that against you, but like, when you have group challenges, you want the strongest people, and you can't afford to have like this anchor that's gonna like make your team drown. That's sorry, you gotta get rid of that. Get moved. That was a smart move.
Do you think Cece made it past her expiration date?
Well, the problem is, like the big last week, and then she just, she was just kind of one of those low key players, like just not really pulling her weight at camp, not. She's just a dead weight. What can you say? And when you're still in the tribes, when the giant merger hasn't happened, you gotta get rid of those people. So it's kind of an easy go.
I'm not sure if you're aware of the story of Cece. Apparently, she's a super fan who's applied to the show many, many a time, and finally she was given a chance to get on the show. But I kind of feel like maybe the show was relenting a bit too much to let her on, because in every instance that we'd seen her, she didn't seem to have that much energy. She seemed a bit pouty. She didn't seem to be in a position where she was happy to be there. I mean, you could look at Dave, and even though Dave might have looked like he was a bit of an underdog, he was still giving it his all. He was still seemed like he so wanted to be there. But then you come to Cece, it just fell flat on the screen. I just never felt anything coming out of her. Do you think that's just due to the way it was, maybe the way they cut the show, or do you think she just really shouldn't have been there in the first place?
Yeah, it's always tough because they don't want to make everyone seem like a super fan. You have to they try to create different like personality types and portfolios for each person. So yeah, maybe they try to cut it out. But I never got the impression that she was a super fan. I didn't know that until you said that, because there was no excitement that you picked up from her. And there is that part of like falling flat on the screen. Like, you have to really go over the top for that to translate like onto TV. Like, I don't think you'll realize like how crazy you have to be to get like viewers to think you're just a little bit crazy. So
I think
and the other thing too is,
yeah. Sorry, I was just going to say, I think you realize what it takes to be on the screen, Mr. Takeshi's Castle #1 winner.
And like you have to like go like blow your mind insane just for people to say, hey, look at that guy, like, he's kind of funny. But if you were to do that in real life, people are like, whoa, okay, buddy, you realize, I don't know what world you're from.
Do you think you're on TV right now?
Yeah, exactly. It goes crazy. But another thing too is like interviewing and like real life are different. So you can make a 1.5 minute crazy video, but then your real life is just like, I'm gonna eat some rice, you know, like I'm not going, you know, crazy and jumping into dumpsters or whatever. So yeah, it's tough that transition from your interview self to like your daily living in harsh conditions self.
That is so true. When you are in a position to be interviewed for even like a position in a job, you're going to present your best self possible. I think that distinguishes a good interviewer is someone who can make someone feel calm and feel like they don't have to be someone else that they really aren't in the interview situation. And if you can't do that, then how can you really know what someone's really going to be like on a show? Let's go back to the show. Let's say, did you pick up on the opening scene between Jessica and Ken at all?
What was going on there?
Well, if you remember last Tribal, Ken actually put down Jessica's name, but it was because he wasn't happy that Jessica went straight to Lucy with the information he provided her, the information that he was right about, but Jessica doubted him for. And one might think, well, Jessica might be pissed because Ken put down her name, but she actually kind of had a real bonding moment with Ken afterwards where she said, you were right. I should have trusted you. I don't know what I was thinking. And she was looking down. Ken was putting his arm around her or something like to that effect. And it seemed like they were really bonding. And Jessica actually told Ken about her legacy advantage. And that means that Ken and Jessica look pretty tight right now. What do you think about Jessica suddenly deciding that she's going to be best buddies with Ken, even though Ken put down her name? What does that say about Jessica as a character in the show?
Genius. You gotta do that. You can't hold these grudges that aren't gonna help you get further in the game. Like to be able to go from a tribal council and just in a short walk back to your tribe, like to realign yourself and say, okay, like that's what happened now. What's my new strategy? What's my new game plan? And she recognizes that Ken, even though he doesn't, he kind of comes off as a little, he actually does hold a lot of sway in that tribe. He can mix things up. Some of the most insignificant, like crazy people that some of his members just want to write off right away can actually cause a lot of disturbance and a lot of can change things out dramatically. And also, I think she sees that David and Ken are together, so she thought, oh, well, David just saved me, so I should also be friends with Ken. Why not? So I think she sees an end into their duo to become a threesome and then become a really strong alliance.
That was an interesting part of the show. That we didn't actually see Jessica talking to Dave at all after that tribal council. The show didn't show us. We don't know if she did or not. But if anything, you would have expected her to go to David and say, thanks for saving my butt. But instead, we see Jessica and Ken cuddling up next to each other. And you kind of feel like Ken is this guy that people feel like they can let their guard down to. That people can kind of be honest with him and they feel that he's honest back with them. I really like that about Ken. Do you have any comments about that?
Well, yeah, he's a strong player, and he's going to be strong until the merge, and then he's going to have a huge target on his back because people like him. He can get stuff done at camp. He's strong in the challenges. So I think he's going to be one of the first people going after the merger. But there's always surprises in Survivor. It's so hard to predict. So that's my guess.
I don't think that people necessarily like Ken. I think there's certain personality types that can appreciate what Ken brings to a relationship. And which brings us to the relationship between Ken and Adam. Did you see that Ken and Adam are now in the same tribe after the merge?
Oh, yeah, that's right, eh?
You see that? When I saw that, a big smile flashed across my face. I said, that's me, Ken, and that's Bradley, Adam, and we're together. And guess what? They had a conversation. It almost reminded me of the first time I met you and our first conversations that we had together. And I don't know if you see it that way, but I kind of feel like I'm a little bit like your big brother, and Ken was kind of like a big brother to Adam, and Ken even said Adam's a guy full of positivity, and he's just a really good guy. And I felt the same way about you when I started to get to know you. And I was just like, dang. This is too uncanny. This is taking me to Uncanny Valley. Did you get a chance to see any of that interaction?
Well, it's going to be heartbreaking when Adam stabs Ken in the back after the merge and holds him off. So maybe you should just stop watching Survivor now.
Here's the deal with that tribe right now. You got Taylor and Figgy both on that tribe together with Adam. And Adam sees himself as a swing vote. We got Jessica and Ken together as well. And Jessica and Ken had just had a bonding moment before that merge. So you got two solid couples, and Adam's right in between. And Adam has to decide whether to go with Ken and Jessica, or to stick with the power couple that were happy to throw him under the bus earlier when they said, well, we're going to blindside your ally and not even tell you about it. Do you think Adam should stick with the power couple, or do you think he should mix it up if they go to tribal council? Should he go with Ken because he seems to have a genuine connection with Ken at this point?
There you go. You said the big word, if they go to tribal council. As long as Ken's on that tribe, there's no way they're going to tribal council. That guy is just he's too good. I think he's, yeah.
It's a strong tribe. So, they did well in the challenge. They came in second place. It was close, somewhat close. Yeah. If it weren't for CC and Dave, totally dead weight on that tribe. Did you see Dave on the challenge? Did you see Dave on the challenge? Oh my God! Did you laugh? I laughed out loud. I couldn't help laugh. I mean, it's sad, but I laughed.
I'm still laughing. I like the music that they put in the background too. Yeah, you hold on to that. Okay, jump on the other side of the back. Jump on the other side of the back. Okay. There's just some people, they have no coordination. It's just hilarious.
Do you think there was part of them that said, I want to throw this challenge? I want to take out, we're the tribe with the Gen X, we're the only tribe with the Gen X majority. I'm going to throw this challenge, let's get out some millennials. Do you think that was going through his head? Do you think he did that on purpose by any chance?
There's probably something who am I going to vote off now? I wonder if someone's looking for a hidden media idol at this time. I should be looking for one right now. Not even concentrating on what he's doing. Always paranoid about I wonder if there's an alliance being formed on the clock because I'm taking too long. Just get the ball, put it where it needs to go, and get your head in the game.
There was a big focus in this show on Dave, as there often is. And the thing with Dave was, at the beginning, he found another idol. Did you see that? Could you believe it?
Yeah. Well, he reminds me of Tony. You have to be that paranoia. Can really drive you to get results sometimes.
But everyone was looking for idols. Everyone was looking for idols at the same time, but he found it. Is he lucky or is he smart?
I think that drive from his paranoia makes him want it even more than anyone else. And that's the great thing about those hidden media idols is that it always seems that the people who want it the most actually find it. And that's the editing as well. But I generally think that makes sense. The personality types that find it seem to be the ones who just they just give it 108,000,000% to 500. Whereas the other people don't even look. They just go for a little walk and move some sticks around and try to find it. But no, David, he's that paranoia is making him win.
The idol, pure genius to include the idol. I would say it's the great equalizer, in the sense that we don't know if someone's going to get voted out until we know they don't have the idol, or maybe even the tribe is going to be so paranoid, thinking that maybe someone they want to vote out might have the idol. It creates a situation where there is so much suspense, and whereas beforehand it It was like we knew who was going to get voted out at the beginning of the show. Sometimes it happened, and it was just the idol adds so much dynamic to the show and adds a whole nother dimension to it. I totally agree with you. The idol is genius, and this is great that Dave found it again. But Dave decided not to play it again, and I was thinking. Why not? I mean, you did it on Jessica, and Cece's your ally. Why not save Cece and do something big again? Why don't you think that why do you think Dave decided to keep his idol this time around?
Yeah, well, I think that's part of the editing as well. Like, he must have felt confident. He's someone who's like super paranoid, but he must have had that like high level of confidence that allowed him to go through. So there's always a conversation about every single person at some point that they're going to vote that person off, and then they can like choose which clips they're going to show. And obviously, people talking about David being voted off must have been just like a flash in the pan kind of thing. And for some reason, it was so surprising. But it also shows that he does have a little bit of depth to him and a little bit of like reason to him. So that's good too, right? So I don't know, maybe he is a better player than I made it out to be at the beginning.
When I saw Dave speaking in the camera, and now his beard's really starting to come out, I saw a Dave that looked completely different from the Dave that we saw on day 1 or day 3, or maybe even the first week. And it kind of reminded me how in the first week of Survivor we saw a Ty that was totally, to me, felt completely different from the Ty we ended up seeing near the end of the show. We saw a guy who was really serious. He looked so serious in his confessionals. He looked a little bit, a little dark, if you will. And Ty took a trip to the dark side in his season. And this season, I think Dave is going to be taking a little trip to the dark side. I think he's looking post-merge, and I think he's thinking that CC, not a threat, kind of a hanger-on. Let's keep somebody in the game who's a threat over me, and then they'll get voted off before me in the merge situation. What do you think about that? Do you think it was a really his chess smarts the reason why he didn't decide to save Cece in this situation?
Well, she can't swim. It's so tough to keep someone on who can't swim on a challenge. Like, even him like fumbling the ball around, I think it still like gives me more hope than someone who it's tough. I'm not trying to like make fun of or put down CC. It's just the fact of Survivor, right?
But on that same note, take CC out. Now he's the weakest link on the tribe.
Yeah, so he should be concerned about that. I think he is actually his paranoia a little bit. It came down in the last episode, and I wonder if he will begin to feel more comfortable, and he will like become a new person. He was so like anxious the first day when he was on Survivor. Now that he's lasted this long, maybe he started to think like, maybe I can do this. Maybe I do have to think about the long game, like you're saying, and I can actually like take a deep breath and like go for this, not just be scared all the time, but actually like start to play the game. So let's see. We'll see. See what happens.
I think his anxiety, his paranoia. I think that was part of an act. I actually think that was all an act. I think that was an act to defer, to make people think that he wasn't a mental threat. Like, he's a guy who's scared, and don't think that I'm gonna outplay you. Don't think that. Think that I'm just some kind of scared guy who's, I don't want to be here. There's bugs and stuff. You know, I kind of felt like that was a way to get the tribe to not take him as a mental threat, as a strategic threat in the game, and to just sort of gel that persona of, oh, I'm just a weakling guy, I'm just here for the ride, having a good time. But I think that was a really smart way to play his tribe mates, and I think he's might have a hard time keeping that up now that he's played his idol. I think once you play your idol, you're starting to look a little like, this guy's really playing the game. Anyway, I think we've talked about Dave quite a bit now. Let's talk about Chris and Zeke. Did you see the Chris and Zeke interaction, how they're kind of growing up right now?
Talk more about that.
All right, Chris apparently played football on a team that Zeke was a fan of when he was younger, when he was in his childhood or teens, early teens. And so Zeke started to found this out about Chris, and then the two just sort of broke down, like hardcore broke down, and it looks like they want to build an alliance. And Chris maybe wisely decides he's going to pull in Zeke, and that's one of the reasons why he decided to vote against his own tribe and taking CC out.
Yeah, I think Zeke is actually going to be like a big player coming forward. So he's not a threat, but in terms of like his ability to win challenges, and he seems like he's kind of socially awkward a little bit, but really, I think he can be a likable guy. He can stay under the radar. You don't want to be too much of any one thing, because then people vote you off. You just have to have enough to fly under the radar and influence things in a subtle way. I think Zeke has that potential. So I think Chris is making a smart move by being, buddying up with him.
Zeke is one of the characters that started a fire in this show. I think it was one of the first 2 episodes where he started a fire. And we also had a moment when Dave started a fire. We had 2 fire starters. In this episode, we got a 3rd fire starter, Michaela. Did you get to see any of Michaela's fire starting ways? Okay, so she was placed on the tribe that had to start a new beach, and she did not look happy about it at all. She looked really salty about it. And her tribe mates were trying to start a fire, and they were giving up. They looked like they had no energy to do it. They didn't look like they had their heart in it. And here comes Michaela, and she says, well, you guys ain't going to do it, I'm going to do it. And she really put her heart to it, she put her mind to it, started a fire. And after starting the fire, she went out to the jungle on her own. She had her moment by herself where she cried, and she talked about something about her family and how people in her family don't believe that people can have success and a happy family life at the same time, that one comes at the expense of the other. And she said something about wanting to prove that that doesn't have to be like that, that you can have a successful life and a happy family life at the same time. You can have a strong tribe and a successful tribe at the same time. So that was a really big moment for Michaela. And now we have 3 fire starters. And I'm starting to think, these 3 fire starters, are they going to be the guys who are going to be at the very end of the show? Maybe this is some kind of foreshadowing. What do you think? Is there a possibility we're going to see a final 3, Michaela, Zeke, and Dave?
No, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. And then you have to know how to build a fire. Like, you never know when that's going to come as a crucial part of one of the challenges or one of the tie breaks or something. So that definitely puts you a leg up in the game. So and I think it also shows too, like their personality, their character, that they work hard, they have a drive, they want to provide for the tribe. So I think this shows a lot of good characteristics when you can start a fire as well. So yeah, you got a good point there.
Yeah, and once again, I have to point out that Michaela had to use a machete to start the fire, and it was in that one episode where she was going against Figgy, she was holding her machete, and I called her Machete Michaela, and now I have even more reason to call her Machete Michaela. I think that's a great nickname for her, don't you think so? If we had a hashtag for this episode, maybe it might have to be Machete Michaela. Okay, so was there anything about the show that you wanted to talk about or wanted to ask me about?
We were talking about Dave fumbling that ball around. It was so funny. That's a classic Survivor moment that's going to go down in the history books. So yeah, that was my favorite part.
Do you think this season of Survivor is right up there with the best of them? I've really enjoyed it so far. I really enjoyed last season, and I got a lot of hope for Survivor going forward. I don't want to ever see Survivor end, but this season has been a particularly great season, especially for me having my boy Ken in there and having your boy Adam in there on the same tribe.
Yeah.
I feel like that took Survivor to a new level for me. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that progresses. How do you rate this season in terms of all the seasons you've watched? Do you think it's right up there?
Yeah, I always get nervous at the beginning of the season. It's like, I spent all that time, invested all my energy, learning about the other people, and it's done, it has this big crash at the end, it's like, oh man, I gotta start all over. And then I watched the first episode and I was like, oh yeah, okay, new stuff, like new crazy people, like, so yeah, I'm ready to do it again. Like, you know, yeah, right now I'm excited and I think it's awesome. Usually things don't get excited until after the merge, but we've had some awesome episodes and like funny stuff happen and weird stuff happen and paranoid stuff. So yeah, I'm loving this episode. I think I agree. It's one of the best seasons ever.
Nice. So far, I mean, we're still only 5 episodes in. How would you rate this episode out of 10? 10 pineapples, perhaps, or pens, or whatever you want to rate it out of.
I'll give it leaves. I'll rate it leaves.
Yes, leaves. Good. Leaves. How many leaves out of 10 does this tree have?
Just no numbers, leaves.
Leaves out of what?
No, there's no what. It's just leaves out of pineapples.
I rated leaves out of pineapples. In the first episode, my friend said to me, he says to me, I think that when they're filming Survivor, Jeff Probst is probably, sticking around, enjoying his time in a 5-star hotel somewhere far off on the mainland, and he's just having the time of his life. And I said, I really don't think so. I think Jeff is probably staying with the team somewhere closer by so he can get to the sites in case he needs to be there for an injury or something to talk to people. And I think he's probably roughing it out, not tremendously, but somewhat compared to what he could probably be living. His living standards could be, considering he's making a ton of money right now. But I decided to rate the first episode based on how many times I thought about Jeff Probst in a 5-star hotel rather than paying attention to the show. And I have to say, this last show was fantastic. I love merges, and this merge was fantastic. We got to see a lot of dynamics in terms of relationships and how things are going to change going forward. I love that Adam and Ken bromance. I hope so. So I'm going to give this episode 10 C stars. 10 C stars, yes. Out of 10 and a half seashells. That was pretty good.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good. I like that. Okay, awesome.
All right, Bradley, I had a great time with you on this podcast. I think we're going to sail it into the internet and see if anyone picks it up and takes a listen.
Sounds awesome.
Anything you want to say on our way out?
Go Leafs!
Yeah, Ken.
Adam.
Can we have a couple name for Ken and Adam? Would it be like Aden? Or would it be
Cam?
Cam? Adam. All